Hello there, I'm Kaden Manpour, and I am doing my first DC review, and I am doing the movie Superman. In this first section, we'll be completely spoiler-free. I will say I am a Gen Z kid, and I have grown up with various almost imitation of Kevin Feige's genius cinematic universe timeline idea, and seeing them fail over and over again. From the DCEU to what could have been the Dark Universe to what I consider the not-so-great at times Monsterverse, but out of all those universes, I genuinely have never felt hope for anything trying to be as complicated as the multiverse of Marvel. Then, James Gunn was fired for multiple offensive tweets, and Jonathan Majors had his own court case that disconnected him from being what should have been the next Thanos, but not before James Gunn released the masterpiece of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Though other than that movie, the other movies of the MCU got low reviews in the box office, so I did get worried that superhero movies will maybe not be as popular as they once were until James Gunn released Superman. Not only did it give me hope for the franchise that literally 6 months ago I thought would disappear forever after the box office disappointments of those sequels to Shazam and Aquaman,
are gonna change the world forever. Cause I can do most anything, and I can stand next to you and watch.
but give me hope for our world. The world is crazy right now, and maybe the world needs a Superman, but I will get more into that in my spoiler review. While the pacing was off, James Gunn is probably one of, if not my favorite director of all time, but I have two problems with him. One, it feels like he can't make a sympathetic villain, and two, between the Guardians of the Galaxy, the Suicide Squad, Creature Commandos, and the 11th Street Kids from Peacemakers, it does feel like he can get a little repetitive doing ragtag groups of anti-heroes, but I think I enjoyed these guys who know that they are better than most people, which makes them very interesting to watch. Like, I will admit, Mr. Terrific is such a scene stealer for how fun yet lifeless he is, but still not taking the attention away from Superman. I will admit, with movies like Spider-Man 3, The Eternals, and the Justice League, it has been showed it is really hard to introduce so many characters in one movie, though in movies like Guardians of the Galaxy and the Suicide Squad, James Gunn has shown that may not always be true, which he does again in this movie. I expected to totally hate this version of Green Lantern, because in the comics, this is how the character was written to be, an absolute pain in the butt. But I actually would love to see Nathan Fillion's character in quite a few more things before being replaced by Hal Jordan or Jon Stewart. Because with no spoiler, I will say they write a good story for Guy Gardner without taking out his somehow funny but annoying traits. Somehow with movies like Christopher Reeve's Superman and Man of Steel's Amy Adams, this version of Lois Lane is probably the best and the most comic accurate there has ever been in these movies. Along with that, this is kind of a spoiler, but Jimmy Olsen does not get killed off immediately like in Zack Snyder's films, but is turned into a fun, lovable character who also loves the journal like the rest of his team. Now for the final character. Lex Luthor is portrayed brilliantly in this film, because Nicholas Hoult gets these characters. He did the Beast amazingly in the X-Men movies, and he has this moment at the end where he has a single tear go down his face. And you see the fear in his eyes that is so close to being relatable without making us actually side with him. The fear of the world becoming like the game Injustice, where Superman turns evil. Between the non-bald Gene Hackman and whoever the heck that toddler was in Zack Snyder's DCEU, Nicholas Hoult shines as the best Luthor of them all. Don't get me wrong, James Gunn still makes this guy extremely comically evil and does the worst things ever in every single scene, but it is still miles above Zack Snyder's Lex, and definitely at the level of Gene Hackman. To be clear, I am saying this all as a person who grew up with parents who loved Christopher Reeve's Superman and would watch it with me. And I honestly found the fact that Henry Cavill's Superman killed Zod fine, because I found Superman 2 to be a really good movie, and he kills Zod. Though Man of Steel was still just a very boring movie. So I'm not being biased in any way when I say that this movie is probably best, if not tied for the best Superman movie, than the first time Christopher Reeve put on the tights. Also, if you want my thoughts on Crypto, just watch the movie. Crypto is awesome. And the cherry on top of all of this is that the voice of Superman's robot is the same voice as this iconic robot.
Are you with us?
No.
Now for my spoiler review. I actually only have one thought left. One of which is that moment in Boravia. I know James Gunn said all of the cities in the DCU are and will be fictional, but I understand I am not the only one who interpreted Baravia as the Middle East while watching the movie, and I'm not going to get political at all in these videos, but I'm going to say this is exactly the scene this movie needed. And it is interesting the scene was filmed a while ago. It was in the trailer that came out the Christmas before the movie came out. And when the soldiers came in and they put a flag up with Superman's symbol, and if you are a comic nerd, you know that means hope. While the world cried for Superman, while the John Williams theme played with rock and roll, chills. Just chills that I haven't gotten since Endgame. Which shows why this world needs Superman and why our world needs hope. Now for a segment I will call Find the Sean Gunn, where I ask in every James Gunn movie, where is his acting brother that is in all of his films? And if you look in the news, when Lex gets exposed, Sean Gunn plays a character named Max Lord, who was previously played by Pedro Pascal in Wonder Woman 84, who will play a big part in Peacemaker Season 2. And probably knowing the Gunn brothers' relationship, Lord will be around for a long time. And that is Find the Sean Gunn! Before I get to my theories, I would like to say that the homage to Star Wars with the opening text and starting in the middle of a battle was cool and wouldn't have worked in an Iron Man movie, but worked really well here. Like, if they went, Captain America has been frozen for 70 years, Captain Marvel had entered Earth about 15 years ago, but that doesn't matter, now you will watch an annoying rich guy become even more famous. That wouldn't work. So in case you didn't notice, but there was a really fun Peacemaker cameo, and I was so taken aback by the cameo that I forgot to check which way the dove was facing. Because in the trailer of Peacemaker Season 2, we see the beginning of a fight scene between two Peacemakers with a dove facing upwards, and there are theories that this is the one from DCU fighting the one Peacemaker from Peacemaker Season 1. And the DCEU one will take over the life of the DCU Peacemaker. I will definitely rewatch Superman when it comes out of theaters, but until then, I will make two theories. If the Peacemaker in that movie, Doves, was facing up, then this is based on a time where the Peacemaker of the universe is doing fine and is a superhero, who probably had a different upbringing while still having the same origin story. And if that dove was facing down, this means that this Peacemaker is from the DCEU and has somehow entered the DCU. Complicated dove math, I know.
What happened to then?
We passed that.
When?
Just now. We're at now.
Go back to then.
When?
Now.
Now?
Now.
I can't.
Why?
We missed it.
When?
Just now.
When will then be now?
Soon.
Also, I heard countless really interesting things about who Ultraman is. From Bizarro to the Henry Cavill Superman to Bizarro played by Henry Cavill. And when he ended up being a clone who got sucked into a void with a pool of Minecraft bricks, that could be a really cool segue into creating Bizarro World in a future Justice League movie, where a Superman clone made by Lex Luthor creates a world of Justice League members who are really dumb.
Bizarro Superman. Superman's exact opposite. Who lives in the backwards Bizarro world. Up is down, down is up. He says hello when he leaves, goodbye when he arrives.
So whether you were one of the monkeys that were definitely symbolizing the Snyderverse fans' first reaction to James Gunn's Superman, or you're a die-hard fan of the Christopher Reeve Superman films, or you love the Arrowverse Superman and Lois Superman, I think we can all agree that this movie brings a bright future and hope not only to the future of the DCU, but to cinema itself. And remember,
You stay classy.